and look for the InDesign file. If you have an older version of InDesign, then you can use the legacy file above that. When you open it up, you'll already be presented on the first page, which has some various directions, but let's first focus on the master pages. So this template has two master pages. The one that we're actually looking at is the project with descriptions one. So on the project with description one has the information and line designs already on the bottom. So there's the title of the project, category, logo, concept, where you would write your descriptions, and then credit, which is the first and last name and course information. Then there's also the page number. So all of this is in the master page. And so if I were to click and drag this one down here, you're ready to go ahead and add your images and edit the text, and you basically just continue to add additional pages going down. The second master page is essentially a blank page, so it doesn't have the descriptions. This is for secondary images that you might have related to the project that you don't need a repeat of the captions for. So that's why this one's included. So let's go back to the first one example, and there's a few notes worth reading. So on the left side of the actual page, you can see that the margin here is much larger. It's more than twice than the right, and that is because when you print it out and you start to bind your book, depending on the binding, you may have rivets, you may have screws, you may do Copic binding, perfect binding. So you have so many options. That's why there's so much breadth over here. If you don't like that, you're welcome to change the margins on your own. But there's almost 2 inches here. I think that should be enough. The other notation here says that the fonts are provided. So if you look at here, you can see in the document fonts, here are the fonts that the template is using. So just double click and install them if you don't have them. Open Sans, if you have Adobe, it should already be installed, so that shouldn't be an issue. The others are provided. And if you don't want to use those fonts, you can pick your own font. It's just recommended that you pick a non-serif font because we don't want something that's distracting, right? So keep it neutral, keep it clean. If it's a crazy fancy or display font, it's going to distract from the designs of your project. The other one here is feel free to reposition or change the columning in this description area. Some people have a lot to write about, so change your page design to accommodate that. This one is in case you forget how to edit master page elements. You have to hold down the Command, Shift, and mouse click. So again, this over here, when I'm clicking, I can't do anything because it's a master page element, right? So I can't click on any of this. So once you want to edit it, hold down the Command, Shift, and then click, and now you can change it and edit it all you want. The guides and the grid structure here, it's modular. It's optional to use it. It's just suggested. It's just to kind of help you all out. Let's take a look at a few examples here. We'll start off with the student. Go back to the top here. So she has a cover page followed by table of contents. Notice on the numbering, she's numbering based off project number, not necessarily page number. So that is an option. There is a brief introduction and then her resume. Then we start actually going into project 1, 2, 3, etc. And you can see there's on occasion, mock-ups being presented. So there are a lot of mock-ups online that are free, and they're very good. It helps us understand the scale and the scope. So obviously the left hand side over here is the design, but then give us an idea of how it would be. So like on this one is semi-transparent, right? We understand that it would be paper, etc. This project and the one after that, these are actually things that were not part of the school. So she did this as part of the a magazine for Dallas Observer, and then this one is actually for the Dallas Museum of Art, creating illustrations based on existing work. So if you have work that is relevant to the review, feel free to include it. This is another student starting with a cover, table of contents, introductional page, resume, and already on those initial pages we get an idea of the color scheme that she's aiming for. And on her layout designs, you'll notice on the bottom there's a subtle change to the template. So she's colored it this pink color, changed the page number, and then has that blue for the actual font choice colors. I also believe that the font choice also changed, which is perfectly fine. It's not distracting to the actual work that we're seeing, so it's appreciated. That's the ending page. This student decided not to use a template and created their own design. Again, smart choice of picking sort of a neutral, clean typeface so it's not distracting, and has all the required information that we want, right? So it has the project title, description, the category, the course information, etc. And you'll notice that there are additional pages per project when needed. So this one has multiple pages, so we can see additional information, a lot of mock-ups. Some of the work, the illustration work isn't as strong, but since we asked for 2 projects minimum per class, it's very nice to have it be included. This student is also someone who created their own design, sort of creating a color system as well, having these large introductory chapter pages to section off the portfolio. So here's the one for he has a category for UI UX. The description information is off to the left, and having these secondary pages so we can see more, right? So these last few are, this one here is actually for his club that he was involved with. And then this one's from internship. So if you're doing things for club, doing things for internship, etc., and they came out really well, please, please, please go ahead and include them. So that concludes this video. If you have additional questions, please contact any of your teachers, and we'd be happy to direct you in the right path.